Hello, everybody, and welcome to my review of Miles Morales Spider-Man number 17, an issue that is written by Saladin Ahmed with art by Carmen Carnero. This is a tie-in to the whole Outlawed story.
You have stolen my dreams.
That started before the shutdown, and while I can't really say that the Outlawed story isn't good because we haven't gotten enough of it. So how could I say that? I don't see the future. I'm no soothsayer, but I don't like the idea of my favorite heroes, the teen heroes, being handcuffed a bit by this, almost trying to make the books more mature like that. That's not what I want from the Young Hero books. What I do want from the Young Hero books is what Saladin Ahmed has been giving me in this book and the Miss Marvel book. What I love is seeing teen heroes have, the hopes and dreams of being a hero and ending up trying to figure out how to be a teen and also be a hero. But what I really, really love, and what you get a lot in the Miles and the Kamala book with Saladin Ahmed, is the family aspect of these heroes, the family life, how being a hero affects them. Now, in Miles' case, his parents know that he is Spider-Man. In Kamala's, they did, then they didn't. So you have a little different deal. But in this moment, you end up, Kamala's in the hospital, and they have the Kamala law. I grit my teeth when I hear it, and the Outlawed story is going on. So it seems as if Saladin Ahmed is kind of stuck a little with this first issue of being an Outlawed deal, because you don't have the whole issue being the Outlawed stuff. You have to fill in some spaces. And so what he does, and what I really do enjoy, is he ends up, while Miles is going off to school, he hears a kid crying and goes and asks him what's going on. It's a middle school kid named Kenneth. And right away, Miles says, man, you got some real good fashion sense. And you end up having Kenneth explain, I'm being bullied in school. They mess with me, the way I dress, the way I talk, the way I walk. Now, this is one of those things. It's not in your face, the whole deal of Kenneth's situation. But I really like it. I like it because I love when Spider-Man stops for a moment. This is something like a Tom Taylor with the spider bite, which everybody cried. I cried. So you have this. I like when Spider-Man is there to help a kid, not necessarily, fighting the Vulture or Green Goblin. This is stuff that's real. This is stuff that I like to see Spider-Man get involved with now and again. Now, this hits personal for me, because if you think, oh, this is so pushed and this is ridiculous, this exact situation with Kenneth, you end up calling Kenneth Ethan Warner, my son. And you have the exact situation. My son, Ethan, wants to be a fashion designer. He's working on starting that up. We ended up having to take him out of school because he was bullied for the exact same thing. And I saw my son come home from school after being bullied just because of something that he wanted to do, how he just wanted to be himself. And he did get viciously bullied. We ended up having to homeschool him. And it really, really, it just kills me that this sort of thing can go on. So seeing this and seeing Miles help out this kid, yeah, that's personal for me, but it is. And I'm doing the review. So I really liked it. So what Miles ends up doing is he's yelling a lot, and there he is. He's Spider-Man. If he's walking around, people take notice, especially kids. So they're all lining up to see what's going on. And Miles is talking really loud, like, hey, this is my man. Kenneth, he is the best. I mean, he's the great. So it's that first step. Then he gets on maybe the gram, as the kids say, down at the malt shop in the rec center, and does a video, a little PSA. And I like that Saladin Ahmed also gives, like, Miles isn't used to doing this. Like, Miles is a younger hero. This kid's younger than him, and he's trying to be like the adult, Spider-Man, and try to do this, like, hey, everybody, this is Kenneth. He's under my protection. You haters better leave off. And by the way, stay in school, kids. He's trying to figure out what to say. I really liked it. And if you didn't, then go to hell. That's all I say. But yeah, he ends up saying goodbye to Kenneth. Kenneth's like, I really don't want to go to school. And again, this isn't like, thanks, Spider-Man. And then all of a sudden, the next scene, you see that Kenneth is being carried around the school on everybody's shoulders. This is, it's playing it out real here. Saladin Ahmed is giving us a real situation where, yeah, the kid still doesn't want to go to school, and he may still be bullied. Hopefully he's not. But he's going off, and, you end up having Spidey. I'm going to check up on you. We'll figure that. I really hope that you end up out of Outlawed, possibly having a new costume that is done by Kenneth. And then from now on, I'd love for Kenneth to just pop up now and again to be the costume designer for the young heroes. That would be awesome. But you end up where you need to have the Outlawed stuff. So as Miles is going off for his own school day, he is stopped by Cradle, being led by Dum Dum Dugan. And I want to point out again the whole deal with the Cradle. That sounds cool. I mean, you have outlawed young heroes, Cradle taking care of them, all that. That's fine. But the backdoor way to get to it with the child hero reconnaissance and disruption law enforcement. It rolls right off the tongue, it does, doesn't it? I mean, really.
I don't really need any of that stuff.
No, I don't. Just imagine, hey, freeze, child hero reconnaissance and disruption law enforcement in your face. You better stop being a teen hero. What? Who are you? Again, aren't you called Cradle? Whoa, buddy. It's child hero reconnaissance and disruption law enforcement. Get that right, pal. All right. Yeah, there you go. I just take it.
You better check yourself.
So you have that. It just makes me giggle every time. Well, you end up having Miles trying to plead his case to old Dum Dum Dugan. Now, he's a dum-dum. He's not really listening, but he does have a point at one point, because Miles is like, man, you hung out with Captain America, and now you're dressed up like fascists. You look like... He's like, listen, buddy, I fought real Nazis. This is about keeping children safe. And so Miles does, and this is going to be Miles' whole argument. Well, I'm one of those kids, and we're about keeping everyone safe, right? That's kind of what we do. And we also, want to kind of do it ourselves. We don't need you to tell us how to keep care of it. It's all that.
I do what I want.
Basically what he's saying. He wants to do what he wants. And he ends up using his, cloaking deal. He turns invisible and gets away from Dum Dum. And after he fights, and this is the outlawed stuff. This is going to put the target fully on Miles, Spider-Man, all these things going down. And yeah, he gets away. And, he would. If he gets caught right away, there'd be trouble. But he goes to school, and at school, you have Cradle there as well. And they are going through lockers. So it is coming down to almost like this fascist type deal where they're going. Now, it does make sense. Now, with that, Miles comes, what's going on, Ganke? Ganke says, they're sweeping the lockers. But it does make sense. The principal says to the vice principal, who, I love the vice principal, who at one point hated Miles, then found out that Miles is Spider-Man, all these things. And you have the Green Goblin came here yelling, Spider-Man, I know you're here. It is going to put now, again, a little bit of a target on the Visions Academy when it comes to finding these teen heroes, because it was pretty much called out. So they're there sweeping the lockers, going through it. Has kind of like a drug type thing, feel a bit, and it kind of doesn't get me. But Ganke knows what's up. Ganke's the guy who knows what's what. He's only talking about the outlawed stuff here. I know that's what he's talking about here, where he says, I hate this. I hate all this. I'm with you, Ganke. I'm 100% with you. Yeah, so you end up where Miles gets through the day, because what does happen is Cradle gets called away because Dum Dum's like, hey, Spider-Man, we almost got him. Oh, man, we got to go. So that kind of saves Miles for a bit, at least allows him some time to clean out that locker. Hopefully he doesn't keep the Spidey outfit in that locker, but we'll see. So he goes off to join his family where they eat at Phil's Diner. Old Phil's Diner. I heard that they have a heck of a sweet potato pie at the Phil's Diner, and maybe even some cream dried beef, which you probably don't know what that is, but it would be big in the diners around my area, the Philadelphia area. But he goes in. This is something that he gets to reset his batteries. He really likes to have time. And this is what I said about having the family time. He goes and he kisses his little sister, Billy Badass, who I love and everybody should love, even though we've only had her for a little. Awesome. And I like his mom. I told you not to call her that. But they're going to talk, and they're talking about the day. And Miles brings up, this Cradle deal and the whole thing about, stopping these young heroes, the Kamala law. And to a surprise to him, Miles, his mom actually agrees with the law. She agrees that these young heroes shouldn't be out. And again, this is a perspective from his mother, who knows that he's Spider-Man. And it's almost like the idea that you hear of a wife or husband, a partner of a police officer, somebody who might be in the military, where, at night, I don't even know if I can go to sleep because I'm worried about you. I get worried that you're in danger all the time. And I think it's too much. And one of the things that I really like about this is Saladin Ahmed ends up explaining when the parents, they go off to baby yoga class with Billy Badass, and Miles is going to walk home on his own. But as he's going, he's thinking to himself, maybe, my mom has a point, because I've seen Kamala in the Champions when they're on the team together. I've seen her beat up a lot. I've seen her bloody noses. And it doesn't mean anything to me. So maybe there is something to this. Maybe I'm desensitized to all this, and this is bigger. Now, in the meantime, Kamala's off in a coma. You shouldn't be desensitized to that at all. But you end up having Miles come home, and their apartment is ransacked. People have come in. I mean, and this is the thing. I understand you're going through the drawers, right? I understand moving some pillows. Maybe you can find some change in the couch, right? Why punch the pictures? Why punch and destroy the pictures? I mean, this guy hates photographs. He hates old-time photographs. But yeah, you end up with Spidey getting his Spidey sense as he ends up getting knocked around, and we end up with a cliffhanger with this Spider-Man, and that's a pretty cool cliffhanger. We're going to have to see what it means. I actually at first thought it might be Uncle Aaron, who's like, Miles is in trouble. I better kind of pretend I'm Spider-Man maybe, but he did get the Spidey sense as danger, and I don't think he would have if it was Aaron. So maybe this is something I don't know quite about, and somebody can inform me, because like Mr. Dugan, sometimes I'm a dum-dum as well. But I did really like this. I liked it for the beginning with Kenneth, and I like what Saladin Ahmed did here. You end up having an outlawed deal, but he did not go away from what people, or at least I, love about the book. He didn't go away from the core values of his book. It is about Miles being a great guy. It's also about Miles and his family. And then, yes, there is outlawed stuff that is affecting it, but he has not lost the vision of what his book is, and he's not going to, it seems. And this made me so excited for reading at least Miles during this whole outlawed deal. I know that, it's not going to change. It's not going to feel like, a lot of times these things, when they tie in, it really does feel like the book's been hijacked. And a lot of times you can even tell that the writer is like, yeah, screw this. I'll wait till this is over until I get back. And I can tell you, Saladin Ahmed has not done this. And that's why I'm going to give it it's between a 7.5 and an 8. I'm actually going to give it 7.8, 7.8 out of 10. Not a lot happens. I can't say this is a 10. I like it. And if you like the Miles Morales Spider-Man, you'll like it as well. But if you're not reading Miles and you just are reading the Outlaw deal, you might read this and say, there's not much to it. But again, I'm a fan, so I did really like it. But hey, that's it. That is the video review of Miles Morales Spider-Man number 17. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd be really appreciative if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video, maybe do a dance, high five. You can kind of put your hand in and pretend you're high fiving me. Somehow you'll miss and it'll hit me in the face out of nowhere and I'll cry, because that's what I do. I don't like getting slapped in the face. I don't know who does. But look in the notes underneath the video as well, where there's some links to our DC and Marvel Comics podcast. We have a Marvel site, a DC site. We also have a Patreon if you just happen to want to support us and get a lot more shows and things like that. Go over to patreon.com/weird science. But thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.